I have no idea what I just did. I don't know what this really is. I was wearing a knight's outfit and the guy was telling me to jump around and eat sandwiches. Apparently some kid told this story.
The thing that attracted me so much is that it was so gleefully violent and perverse, which is very much my style. The kid Kieran who's telling the story is a genius, and he's so animated and excited with everything he's saying. He's just going, and then they smacked each other, and they struck him, and he hit him, and he fell over, and he gets so excited, but telling the story of these two guys that are just beating the hell out of each other, but they're kind of friendly towards each other, and they take water breaks together and take a nap, and everyone pees in the story too, which I thought was hilarious. And then out of nowhere, Kendall, the hero, has a pet wasp, which flies around, and it poops explosions. So there's poop and there's pee and there's violence, but it's all done with a great big smile. Well, there were a lot of production challenges because he never really describes the location. I was sort of picturing it out in the middle of nowhere. So I needed somewhere that was really kind of vast and pretty, but that we could set up a production for a day. So there was this location called Singing Springs in the Angeles National Forest where I'd filmed a few times before. It's a couple that owns this huge chunk of land. There's a creek there, there's mountains, it's totally beautiful.
The heat was hot.
Feels like about an 89 to a 93, that's Fahrenheit.
And I had these poor actors running around in velvet tunics and basically huge frying pans. They're wearing steel chest plates, back plates, covered head to toe with things that when they sit out in the sun for 5 minutes, you could fry an egg on them, literally.
This is my fort, held by one woman.
The first person to be cast was Kendall. Lourdes, who was my production designer, she came over one night to go over some of the stuff I needed her to make, and I said, who do you know? Who can you think of that would be good in this? And she said, I know Dave Sheridan. And I said, no, that would be awesome. And the good thing about him is he's a total goofball. He's always playing a spaz in these movies, but he's also like really handsome. I emailed him and I just said, here's this project, would you come do this for a day? And he said, let me look at it. And he saw Kieran's interview and he said, yeah, count me in.
I play a character named Zornmetal, and I'm a knight, and it's all a kid tells me what I do.
We didn't have a Zorn medal yet, and Kim said, how about Jeff Lewis? Right at first I was like, that's not really what I was picturing. I was picturing Zorn Metal being this big, scary, terrifying monster of a guy. And I said, but Jeff would be really funny, because Jeff's really funny, he's got a great look. So I went to go take the picture of him, because I had to go get the cardboard cutout made. And I brought the costume as it was, and I was gonna pin it. And I had him put it on, and it was way too big. It's like wobbling on him, and it's shaking, and everything's too big, and the tunic's too big, and the helmet was too big, and he just looked hilarious. So I said, I'm just gonna leave it like that. That was a great suggestion to use Jeff, and he was great to work with. So the two of them together were quite a combo. The biggest challenge creatively was figuring out how to do all the crazy stuff he pulled out at the end, like the wasp and the castle exploding, and the wasp stings Zorn Metal's armor, which makes the armor explode. Figuring out a way that would work and be funny and that I could actually pull off in not a really long time was challenging, but I think I came up with some good ways to do that.